This Nottingham Forest team are a problem. Nottingham Forest won Manchester City 0, and Forest fans, guess what? Get your passports ready because next season you're going on a European adventure. Don't know what competition just yet, but you're sitting comfortably in third. I hope it's UEFA Champions League, but not at Newcastle's expense. So we're looking back at Forest 1, Manchester City 0. And the funny thing about this performance, it was very professional, it was disciplined, but the result wasn't surprising. The recruitment in this Nottingham Forest team over the past 18 months has been nothing short of sensational. Nikola Milenkovic for 12 million, Callum Hudson-Odoi for 3 million, Murillo for 10 million, Chris Wood 15 million, Aina for 3, and there's multiple others that I haven't even included in that. So if you are new here or just joined, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. But what a result for Nottingham Forest. We kept on hearing from the media that this Nottingham Forest team would dive off, they would have a little dip in form, but they look anything but. After a 1-0 win against Manchester City, they're sitting comfortably but deservingly third in the Premier League. Forest have been a breath of fresh air this season, in my opinion, because everybody was looking at this possession, heavy base, tiki-taka, always finding passes. You need 600 passes per game. But Nottingham Forest have just come up, ripped up the scrapbook, and become a real problem. Again, what a performance, what an atmosphere, what a win. Momentum is what's pulling Nottingham Forest through this. Despite the quality, despite the ability to control games out of possession, this momentum is really building something special. You can sense that the players believe in every single thing they do and also each other. The fans, the players are enjoying riding this crisp of wave. And I can't lie, even though you don't have much of the ball, I thoroughly enjoy watching Nottingham Forest. It's a tactical battle every single time. And I love how organised Nottingham Forest are. Nuno has really improved every single player in the squad, and he's got these combinations absolutely perfect. If not absolutely perfect, they're pretty much as close as you can get to perfection. Play to your players' strengths, and that's the beauty about Nuno. He's got these players excelling, but he's also got brought in players that complement each other's strengths and weaknesses while sticking to a game plan. The balance of this Nottingham Forest team, the way it's been put together, is sensational. They've got that spine, they've got that aggressive but gritty but quality spine. And then they've got the additions like Anthony Elanga or Callum Hudson-Odoi who can be threatening and can create moments of magic. So they've got the balance of everything in this Nottingham Forest side. So if they can keep the group together, they're going to be a problem for many years to come. I've got no doubt. Might have been awful goalkeeping from Edison, but Nottingham Forest earned their luck today. Today was all about Forest being great rather than Manchester City being poor. I know if you look at the statistics, you'll see City dominated possession, but Forest dominated that game without the ball. There's an art of dominating games without the ball, and Forest do this the best I've seen in the Premier League. I'm actually jealous because this is something I want Newcastle to start doing, but the way Nottingham Forest just control and prevent patterns of play happening just by their structure and discipline is phenomenal. And I want to give credit to Nuno in this game because I thought he got his tactics absolutely spot on. Now, if you look at the average positioning of, firstly, I want to commend Nuno for his tactics. If you look at the average positioning of Nottingham Forest players in this game, in comparison to every other game this season, the defense is a lot higher up. I wouldn't say a lot, but it is higher up rather than defending on their own box. And I think he did this for a purpose, and that purpose was to squeeze the middle of the pitch so Manchester City would have less time on the ball, so they weren't able to facilitate and orchestrate attacks. Whereas they also knew they had the recovery pace of Murillo and Milenkovic to keep up with Erling Haaland. So that threat in behind wasn't there because Murillo ended today with something like 7 clearances. This is the beauty about this Nottingham Forest team. They can defend in many different ways. They can squeeze the pitch and prevent the space in the middle of the park, or they can sit back in their own box and defend it extremely well. And speaking about defending, I want to talk about these two, Nikola Milenkovic and Murillo, because they were exceptional today. I know Callum Hudson-Odoi got man of the match because he scored the goal. But for me, I couldn't pick between these two who was my man of the match. Probably give it to Murillo, but I thought both of them were exceptional. Completely marshalled Erling Haaland out of the game. They left no space for the City players to exploit. They were disciplined in their positioning. The reading of the game was absolutely on point. They were competitive. They were aggressive. They were covering wide areas when fullbacks went advancing. They were tracking runners. It was just an outstanding performance. They were composed in one-on-one situations, but also in possession. The beauty about these two is they complement each other so well. When one goes to engage, engage, the other's happy to cover. When the other goes to engage, the other one's happy to cover. They're really disciplined in their position and understanding of each other's roles. And that's what makes a team. A team isn't about signing the best players or the highest and biggest names. It's about finding the right profiles that complement each other. And this is why I'm so complimentary of Nottingham Forest, because their recruitment has been exceptional. And another thing I noticed in this game, I really enjoyed the freedom that Nuno gave to Anthony Elanga, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and all the forwards in transitions. They were coming inside, utilising the channels, preventing them from being one-dimensional. Anthony Elanga played an important role in this game, despite not getting a goal and assist, but he caused real problems. Now, I put this out on X, and somebody questioned us on it, so I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by this, because truly it was a stroke of genius from Nuno. So I said, really enjoyed the freedom Nuno gave to Anthony Elanga. And somebody came out and said, what problems? Forest defended and tried to counter, which is true. They are a class at defending their box, but they created very little. That doesn't matter. It's not about what you create. It's how you prevent the opposition from creating. City lost again due to defending and keeper mistakes. Forest deserved their win because they won, but they didn't really cause City any trouble. This is something I disagree with. I understand they didn't create very much, but City were worried about the movement of Elanga, preventing them from committing bodies forward. So what I mean by that is City weren't committing bodies forward because of the movement and the danger that was behind them. That was a specific tactic from Nuno, just causing havoc in the final third, allowing these forwards to interchange, cause City real problems, even though Forest didn't have possession. And for me, when you're coming up against a team that's better than you on paper, the two things that kills in its pace and movement. If you haven't got the pace to get in behind, you need the movement, and that's exactly what Nottingham Forest were doing today. So in the final third, even though they didn't have the ball, it was exceptionally clever. And this is where we're seeing Callum Hudson-Odoi's goal, because he was on the right wing when he scored that goal. It was a beautiful ball, perfectly weighted pass from Morgan Gibbs-White. It was incredible because it allowed Callum Hudson-Odoi to take the ball into his stride without losing any momentum. And then the directness, the cleverness to open up an angle for a strike was beautiful. Despite Ederson's mistake, that sequence, that passage of play is everything brilliant about Nottingham Forest this season. That is Nottingham Forest at their ultimate best, where it's fluid, quick in transitions, and incredibly direct. I always say it's like those red arrows just bombing forward, and that's exactly what we're seeing from Nottingham Forest. Though it was a beautiful patch of play and a beautiful goal, and I'm happy for Callum Hudson-Odoi because he was a victim of bad timing at Chelsea. Every time he began to build up momentum, he would get injured. He had a big problem with his Achilles injury, and any time he would gather momentum, he would be left out the side. So I'm happy he's found a home in Nottingham Forest, and to be honest, it's a beautiful football club full of passion. The fans get behind the players. So I'm not surprised to see him thriving there. So I'll say it again to put a smile on your face, Nottingham Forest fans. Get your passports ready, because Nottingham Forest are going on a European adventure. And the size of this club, the passionate fan base, I'm going to be absolutely in awe watching it, and I hope you really smash it. I can't lie, but today was brilliant without the ball, controlled the game without the ball, and that's the signs of a good team. You don't need the ball to win possession. You've actually had the lowest average possession in the Premier League this season, despite you sitting third. I love how you've just ripped up the scrapbook of what's happened over the past 5 years and played your own style, played your own ways, played your strengths, and that's the beauty of football. Honestly, I know it sounds like I'm bigging you up so much, but you deserve it. You absolutely deserve it, because you haven't just followed the grain and looked at control games and always had possession and played out from the back. No, you played to your strengths, and that's a sign of an excellent and a successful team. So I want you to be successful, obviously not at Newcastle United's expense, like I mentioned earlier, but good luck for the remainder of the season. You've put yourself in the healthy position. It's now in your own hands, and that's the best place to be. But I want to hear from you guys, Nottingham Forest fans. Where do you think you'll finish this season? Do you reckon you'll finish in that top 5? Let us know in the comments below. But before you go, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, good luck and away you tricky trees.